This week we're learning here in Israel about an evil team, a duo, Balak and Bilam, and anti-Semites, anti-God, anti-life. They're trying to destroy the Jewish people, and they had a really good chance. The odds were definitely in their favor, because the Jewish people are a spiritual people. As the Jewish people had done some serious transgressions, and Bilam was a world-renowned curser. He could curse people. He was a really big expert on cursing. And nowadays we have the Iranians with atomic bombs and the terrorists with all sorts of different methods that they have of conquering and poisoning. Then, in those days, they were much more civilized than they are today. They had people who knew how to curse. No bloodshed, no effort, totally spiritual endeavor. A person has to be of a certain high level of personal refinement in order to be able to connect to the spiritual to the point where he can actually curse people. It's pretty, not everybody can do it.
Balak was a pike. He was with a donkey.
That's not, you make up the rules. You're making up the rules. Maybe that, what Bilam did, it says that Bilam used to have relations with his donkey. That's only according to the Judeo tradition, that it's forbidden. But if there's no more Judeo tradition, no more Torah, then everything goes, right? But in order to get to the level where you can actually curse people and that it works, you have to be a very devoted, single-minded person. You have to have talent to connect to these spiritual powers in order to do it. It's not simple. Not anybody can do it. Not everyone has the power to do it. This is not, we're not talking about voodoo or something on, one person. That also has to have special powers, those things. So here we have a man called Bilam, and he actually has the ability to curse and wipe out entire nations. Even atomic bomb can't do that. The biggest atomic bomb, what do they have? They have some sort of a there's another type of a bomb they have. It's like 100 times more powerful than the neutron bomb. 100 times more powerful than hydrogen or whatever. 100 times, 1,000 times, but they can't wipe out a whole entire nation. 3 million people like this. This is a very, very difficult thing to do. That's what Bilam had the ability to do. But it ended up that Bilam tried to curse the Jews, and unfortunately they deserved to be cursed, but it didn't work out. God wouldn't let him do it, and not only did his curses not work, and not only did they not come back on him, but it ended up that he blessed them. The curses became transformed into blessings. So one of those blessings, it says like this, that he was standing up on a mountain so he could overlook all the Jewish people. And he said, Mirosh tzurim erenu umigvaot ashurenu. He said, from the top of mountains I see him, see the Jewish people, umigvaot, and from high places ashurenu, I view him. Do you see where we are? Yep. Yes, very good. Omrim Razal, the rabbis say in the Midrash Rabbah, Midrash Tanchuma, Zohar, it says there's a deeper meaning here. Bilam was really attached to some very, very deep meanings, and God transformed all of his curses into blessings. Mirosh Tzurim, from the heads of mountains, says that's the fathers, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov. And the Gvaos and the hills, the high places, these are the Imhos. Who are the Imhos? Who are the mothers of Judaism?
Rachel, Leah, Sarah, and Rivka.
Very good. Rachel, Leah, Sarah, and Rivka, excellent. So what did he see? He stood up and he saw Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Rachel. And what does it mean? He saw these people. So he was afraid. They were like really huge. They had weapons or something. No. He just saw the tremendous, eternal, infinite merits that these people earned by their self-sacrifice in the time they were in the world. Let's look and see. So he said, the three fathers and the four mothers. That's what they're called. The three fathers and the four mothers. What are fathers and what are mothers? Hahevdel ben av la'em, regarding to their children, is like this. Hashaychut agluya shala'av hu klalus mitziuto shalaben. The three fathers, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, they're called our fathers. The others are called our mothers. Why aren't they just all seven of them called our founders? What's the difference? So he says there's a big difference between a father and a mother. A father, he's really the one responsible for, he's the one that caused the whole existence of the children, of the child. The existence. Just the fact that there is such a thing as this child. Hatziur, haguf shalayeled, but the form of the body of the child, I'll call prate evorov, with all of its details of its limbs, eyes, nose, mouth, how everybody looks different from everybody else. This is by means of shiato, tisha chadashim, waiting 9 months in the mother. The existence of the child, the fact that there is a child, that depended on the father. But the fact that how the child develops, how he looks, the child, that is determined by the mother. That's why the child is 9 months in the womb of the mother. Lochin, therefore, gam la'achar leida taben, therefore, even after the child is born, omedet ha'em, the mother is yoter bekiruv, closer to him than the father. Ki he yatzro et pratim shalo, because the mother formed the details of the son. Lochin, therefore, ro'im b'muchash, we can see clearly that the love of a child Rabbi Yoter is more revealed and greater le'imo, to his mother, me'asher la'aviv, than to his father. V'yiraso gadol, but the fear is greater for his father. Usually that's the way it is. The relationship with the mother is usually more emotional, and the relation with the father is a little more distant. Ki ahava yitenua shel kiruv, because love comes from closeness, and fear is from far away. Okay, so that's what Bilam cursed and then turned into a blessing, blessed the Jewish people, that he saw their fathers and their mothers. Therefore, he couldn't curse them. He saw their fathers and their mothers. Says the Rebbe, let's look at this. Let's understand this a little bit better. The Jewish people have 3 fathers and they have 4 mothers. A father is further away from the son. It's more fear. A mother is closer. It's more emotion, more love. So same thing, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, somehow or other are further away. They're more the existence of the Jewish people. And Rachel, Leah, Sarah, and Rivka, that's more the nature of the Jewish people, the differences of the Jewish people. Let's see what it means. Hevdel zeh, this difference, kayem, exists, gam bein ha'avos lebein ha'imos shel klal Yisrael. This is between the fathers and the mothers of all the Jewish people. V'zeu gam atam, and this is the reason. Shem, mirosh tzurim, this is the fathers. Ne'amar b'pasuk abitui ereno. It says, from the tops of the mountains, I will see him. Hamora al ria mirachok. This refers to seeing from a long distance, from far away. The ilu b'migvaos, but if we're talking about the hills, which those are the mothers, is Ashurenu. The word Ashureni in Hebrew means looking at something from close. Shema Shmuto Sherio Hi Mikarov. Ashurenu means I will see. It says Sora. She was called Sora from the name of this Sora, that she saw things close. Mishum Kach Metargem Atirgum Et Tevas Ashurenu. What does it mean? Sichta. Sichta is also the word tabet, to look. Like to, how do you say, investigate something, when you look closely. So the merit of the fathers, that stands far away from the Jewish people in general, and the merit of the mothers, that stands close to the Jewish people individual. Habata means to look at something with an intention and seriously, to look serious. So the fathers are called, the Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov are called the fathers because they're looking at the Jewish people as in general. And the mothers they're called mothers because their influence on the Jewish people is individual. Now you have to remember something over here. When Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, when they were doing what they were doing, they didn't think they were founding a people. They didn't think that they were beginning a new religion. They were serving God. They were serving God. They just wanted everyone in the world to serve God. They wanted everyone in the world to realize that there's a creator. The creator is really, really good, and that you can connect to the creator. That's all. Not for your personal benefit, not for your personal good, but for your personal, what do you want to call it? Integrity. Integrity. You do what is true. Are you going to benefit from it? We hope you will. You're going to go to heaven? Could be. But that's not the subject here. We're not talking about what you get. We're talking about what you give. Which that's true in all cases, right? I think that's true in everything in the world is that way. A person who's in sports, is he in sports just for the money? If he is, it's probably pretty sure he's not going to be a very good sportsman. He's in it because he loves the sport, he's good at the sport, he devotes himself to the sport, he wants to win. Right? A doctor, supposed to be that he's in it not for the money or for what he's going to get, for benefits. He loves people, he loves life, he doesn't want anyone to be sick. So he does it for the truth. He's doing it for the fact. People should be healthy. Right? An artist, he loves art. A lawyer is supposed to be a person that he loves justice. He wants to present the side of the good side of his client's case. Everything there is in the world, you can take it in a genuine way, or you can take it in a non-genuine way. Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Rachel, Leah, Sarah, Rivka, they took life in a genuine way. They didn't think about themselves. They thought only about what is the truth. And from that came a whole nation of Jews. That this whole nation, they founded the Jewish people, the whole nation of people that also would look at the world in a non-selfish way. That's what it's supposed to be. They look at the world purely from God's aspect, to be vessels for the creation of God. Just like plants and animals and things, if they're normal, they're healthy, they just do what they're supposed to do. Right? They don't go running over cliffs or running in front of cars. Same thing a human being. A human being, if he does what he's supposed to do, then he's healthy. Right? But the problem is, it's a little more complicated to be a human being than to be an animal. An animal just has to follow his nature. And a person has to follow his conscience. He has to follow his value system. So Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, they're the ones that gave these new set of values to the world, not thinking they were making religion, but hoping that they would bring everyone in the world to serve God. And it ends up that the fathers, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, they have a different influence on the Jewish people and on the world than the mothers do. Rivka, Leah. Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, their influence is from far, and Rivka, Leah is from near. Let's see. Latest of Valad mi'av ve'em, the birth of a child from a mother and father. Ki b'kol inyan b'gashmis, like in everything physical. Nil kachet mishorsha baruchnius, comes from a spiritual source. The reason that there is in this world a mother and a father and a child and giving birth is because that's the way it is in the spiritual worlds. That's the way it is in the spiritual world. The book called Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs. The whole book is talking about love. Love of a man to a woman. He's looking for her, he's kissing her, he's embracing her. She finds him, he looks for her, she finds him. and she's looking for him, and he's looking for her, and they're changing tenses and past and present and future. This beautiful love psalm, which really what it's talking about is the relationship between the Jewish people and God. But King Solomon used regular metaphorical things in this world, metaphors for things in this world, men and women and marriage, because in fact these things really do come from spiritual sources. There is really a spiritual source to all these things. So let's see. The birth of a child in the world comes from a spiritual source. Midot hitragshut are called todot. Emotions, when a person has an emotion, loving God, right? Loving God. Loving, let's take a simple example. Loving a car, loving sports, right? All these things come from a certain awareness. Midot hitragshut nikrim toldot. The emotions are called children. Mishum she'em noldot min hasechel, because they get born from intellect. Intellect. You see people go to a soccer game or a baseball game. Oh, I love the Tigers, the Detroit Tigers. I'm so excited. He's yelling, he's screaming for the team. The person sitting next to him says, man, this is not the Tigers that are playing. No, this is not the Tigers that are playing. You got the wrong place. These are the what is it, the Ypsilanti Gophers or something. What? Says, yeah, this is an amateur game. This is an amateur game. All of a sudden he's not excited anymore. Why? Because he understood differently. As soon as you understand differently, so your intellect dictates your emotions. Right? I just won $1 million. You know that $1 million is all stolen money. All of a sudden he's not happy anymore. When somebody comes and says, you believe that guy is stolen money? It's not stolen money, it's real money. You won the money. Oh, he's happy. Somebody comes along and says, you used to believe this? You believe that guy that said that guy was lying? That's a lie. All of a sudden he's sad. The intellect determines the emotions. Afterwards, Yonah, afterwards. Hasaga v'itbonanut. Understanding and thinking about the greatness of God. Molida gives birth. Ahava l'kodesh baruch hu, love to Hashem, v'yira mimenu, and fear from Him. If you think properly about God, then you come to realize how amazingly good He is. That gives birth to love, and how amazingly awesome He is. That gives birth to fear. Intellect is usually divided into two: Chachma and Bina. Chachma, this is what gives birth. This is what gives birth. That's the fathers and the mothers. Chachma, this is the point of intellect. Just like the father gives the first seed. Lochen, nikra chachma av, he's called the father. Bina, this is like the egg. This is the aspect of intelligence, like it comes to be understood, understanding something. Right? You can have an idea. That's the idea is chachma. Understanding the idea, making the idea, useful, practical, that's Bina. Bina takes the idea and builds it up. Lochi, and therefore, Nikra Bina is called Em. Kochot, Haneshama, Mekoram, Eser Sfirot Shalamayla. The powers of the soul, that comes from the 10 Sfirot of God. Have you ever heard of this idea before, Zachariah? The 10 Sfirot of God, the 10 aspects of God?
Yes.
Very good. Have you ever heard of this before? Yonah, the 10 aspects of God. The 10 aspects of God is called the secret of faith. You have to know that God has a personality. If you don't think that God has a personality, that's the first step to idolatry. You think that God is so far away and He's so uninterested in the world that He has to send people or stars or powers or souls or angels or something into the world that they represent God's interest in the world. Well, it's not so. The fact is, God personally has a personality. And God personally gave the Torah. He personally took the Jews out of Egypt. Personally, He did these things. God personally cares for every detail of the world. God. How does He care? Because God has what's called 10 sfirot, 10 aspects of godliness. Infinite aspects of godliness. We talk about this every Erev Shabbos and Pesach Eliyahu. Let's take a short break.